RJ freaking Decker, as I live and breathe. They let you out already?
No, Bill, I escaped. Don't tell anyone, okay? How you doing?
You back at the newspaper?
Matter of fact, Bill, no, I'm a PI now.
Congrats on RJ Decker. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I've seen the first 2 episodes. It seems like it's going to be a fun watch. Scott, what makes RJ so fun to play?
Well, I mean, from the minute I read it, I knew they would be fun to play. I can't really explain why. Sometimes you read stuff, you're like, I don't know what this is. It'll take me some time to figure it out. This was right on the page right away. Honestly, he's just a warm, likable guy, and I thought I could bring what I bring to the table with that. And he's fun. He pushes the action. He's in every single scene. He's definitely, very, very funny too. And that was something I hadn't really explored too much with a lead character like this. So whatever it was just something that made me want to do it. And I knew like if I kind of could relax and get into the role and get it on screen, that an audience would come along for the ride.
Are you aware you're associating with a known felon right now?
Detective Abreu, hello, how are you?
Yeah, let me guess. He wants us to put cuffs on Clay Gregory for this.
Well, I mean, it'd be nice if we put cuffs on for something.
Just a reminder, my case, not yours. And sharing information with a civilian, let alone an ex-con, would be bad. How is everything at the trailer park? You making new friends?
You're no stranger to television, but more recently you've done You, and that's kind of a dark thing, and then Grey's Anatomy, and that's a medical drama, and then RJ Decker, something completely different, procedural type show. What's it like for you to juggle all that?
The procedural part, I've never done that. I never did that. I kind of ran from that. It would come up in my careers. But, this was just a part. I really came down to the part. I couldn't say no to it. It was too good of a part. I thought there could be sort of a winning quality with it, and there's something I could bring to the table again with it. But yeah, the procedural part of it, wanting to go and do 18 episodes again on television, wanting that kind of life, was something that was very attractive to me when this opportunity came along. So I jumped at it. But yeah, we'll see. I've done 9 episodes now. It's definitely a grind, but where I am in my life right now, it's like I'm ready to do that. You know what I mean?
RJ Decker is based on a book written by Carl Hiaasen. Carl Hiaasen, a lot of audiences love his books. Bad Monkey was an Apple adaptation with Vince Vaughn last year. What's it about the characters, the worlds he creates that resonates with audiences?
Yeah, I don't know. He's having a moment. Whatever it is in his books, I spent a lot of my 20s reading these hard-boiled PI novels, and I never got around to Carl Hiaasen. But for whatever it is, he's gotten hot within the development community in Los Angeles for sure, because he's got Bad Monkey, got this, RJ Decker, he's got one with Amanda Seyfried coming out, and I think there's a movie too that they're developing. So he's definitely something in the water there with Carl. I think it's probably to do with the Florida nature of it. It's just such a distinct character. I think it films really well. I think people are just generally interested in that world. The zaniness, weirdness of that world, I think, is very cinematic, very television friendly. So I think those combinations lead to like audiences and producers, frankly, kind of chomping at the bit to get his material.
You mentioned zany, and Florida man is obviously a term that's used to describe some of the state's wackiest criminals. Scott, do you have any sort of wacky things that you've uncovered in prepping for RJ Decker?
No, but not really. But you go there, like we're filming in Wilmington, North Carolina, but you go there and you immediately understand our show and what we're trying to achieve. You can just walk down the street in Fort Lauderdale and you see 10 different types of characters that are just so uniquely distinct to Florida, man. The parks are like these weird jungles, and you go to these like the end of the road there, and the bars, the people, like you've seen them, they've been there for 5 hours and they have this look about them, sun-drenched look, and there's characters here, characters here. You go into the suburban parts of it, and it just has a very unique feel that you just don't find anywhere else. I can't really explain it, but I haven't been there enough times, but I'm sure if I spend more time there, there will be more stories.
Silly! Usual? It's a little early. You get that every time you call me Sally, you're announcing to your patrons we're both ex-cons.
Well, if it weren't for ex-cons, RJ, I might not have any patrons.
Scott, rate your PI skills now. How would you do as a real-life PI?
Well, I would be okay. I think RJ's a lot better than I would be. He's made for this, having being a newspaper photographer in the back before he's doing this job. So he's got a skill set and he's involved in the crime world and he's been used to viewing things. I'd be okay. But like, this guy's he's not like one of these special skilled auteurs that like, all of a sudden he's got like a brain for it. He's just a regular guy trying to figure it out. So on that level, I think I could do some of this pretty good now.
You joined Grey's in, I think, 2018 as Nick Marsh. What's it like to be part of that? I mean, Grey's has been on for, it's such a phenomenon.
Yeah, that's a machine. I've always loved doing that show, but you are a guest on a huge, big, structured show, that's you go there and it's just a sea of trailers and it's 20 cast members and that's a whole machine. 2022, 23 seasons. So I've loved doing that show, but I mean it really is like you're coming on to be a guest on somebody else's show, and it's been nice to go and do this where we're starting something out from the baseline and I get to sort of dominate each episode and dominate each scene and be in every single episode. I mean every single scene we shoot I'm in pretty much. So totally different, unique perspective on shooting something now.
Felicity was your big break back in the 1998. Tell me about that and how that came about.
That was kind of wild. I had just dropped out of theater school. I was living on my mom's couch, and a casting director remembered me from a short film. And they were like a week away from starting shooting, and they couldn't find their guy. So she called my mom and found her in the phone book in 1998 and called, and I got a message from my mom saying they want you to look at this. I said, no, I don't want to do it. An agent heard that I didn't want to do it and sent me the script. I read the script and loved it and immediately put myself on tape. And then a couple of days later, I was in Los Angeles shooting the show. So it was very fast how things happened. They wanted this specific kind of guy, and I was able to fill those shoes at that time.
Has it surprised you that that show never went away? I mean, it's still, I mean, even my wife just mentioned when I told her I was talking to you, she went on for about 5 minutes about how much she loved it.
Yeah, I mean, when you go back and watch the show, it is kind of like unique how it looks and how it feels and kind of the slowness and the richness of those characters. And Kerry Russell was her first like big thing. And she obviously is, there's a reason why every show she does, becomes its own kind of little universe, whether it's The Americans and now The Diplomat and Felicity, obviously. So, that star power, it's not like, there's no sign up sheet for what she has. So I think that's a huge reason why. And it was J.J. Abrams and Matt Reeves. It was their first TV shows, and obviously incredibly talented people. We had incredible photographers on that show, filming the show. And, the care that went into the show is really, really rare. So no, it's really not surprising to me that it's lasted at long. Television really movies are these spectacles and television invites you in. And I think that show really invited people in and was an important show for people of a certain age.
I mentioned off the top that we talked for Good Neighbors, and that was Jacob Tierney, and he's having a moment with Heated Rivalry. What's that like for you to see that success for him?
Well, he was telling me about it and I thought, wow, that sounds cool. That sounds interesting. To be totally honest, didn't think too much of it after that. And then, I'm filming in North Carolina and hearing about the show. And then it just picked up this like momentum until it's, Saturday Night Live. It's like on Jon Stewart, like everywhere you went, it was the show people talked about. It became a rating success, but I think a culture success was kind of the true marker of a zeitgeist show where it was social media driven as well as anything. And it was really a true modern hit. And that doesn't happen out of Canada that often. And I think as Canadians, we should really look at like what that is. And it was shot beautifully. It looked beautiful. And I think they cast it really well too. And obviously those guys are now established stars in their own right. So no, it was wild to watch. That doesn't happen out of Canada that often where something pops like that. We have our comedy stuff here and there, but to have a drama like that come out of Crave and come out of Toronto like that with really homegrown talent is great to see.
Before I let you go, Toronto guy, what did you think of that Blue Jays World Series?
That was tough. I was a fair weather fan, and then immediately got sucked in. You know, I've lived in the States for almost 30 years now. So, you know, I grew up, I was a big Blue Jays fan growing up, and I was around for the 93, 94 stuff. And then, like, you know, I was like, okay, I'm going to watch. It got me. It was devastating. That was really tough. You know, as a guy that's loves sports, that was one of the worst sports things I've ever seen.
Let's see. Great. It's great. Roomy. How'd your better half take the news?